I'm Bonnie Dorsey, and this is Maya, and this is May, and I'm doing this video to tell you a little bit about their special needs and a little bit about the medical side. I'm doing this for Sunny Reynolds, and she asked me 9 questions to answer for you guys. So the first one is, tell about yourself. So my girls, we adopted them back in December of 2016, and they are 14 months old now, and they have something called PVL, which is periventricular leukomalacia, and that's just a fancy word for brain bleeds. So they had grade 3 and grade 4 bilateral, both sides of the brain, and that caused holes in their brain. And then, what are you doing? What are you doing? Making noises. So that caused, holes in their brain and the white matter. So the white matter controls the muscles, so that can cause cerebral palsy as well, which the doctor said they also have cerebral palsy, but in our case it's a very, very mild case because they're 14 months and they're already pulling themselves up to stand. They're doing progressively well for their special needs. It's amazing, and I owe it all to therapy, because the next question is, what kind of medical needs does your child have? Therapies, surgeries. We've had therapy 3 times a week since they first came home, and it is amazing. Therapy is like our cure, because every time they've had a tiny little muscle spasm or tightness, we've instantly gotten to work it out. We've done everything we could to make sure that that doesn't become into a problem where we have to get a surgery or anything else like that. So therapy is amazing, and besides therapy, we've had so many doctor's appointments, I can't even name them all. They had retinopathy as well when they first came home, which is the retina doesn't want to attach to the eye. So every 10 days since they were born, we've had to see an eye specialist for that. And there's not many of those in our state, so we had to drive really far for that. And now in December, we have to go 8 hours away to see another specialist for their eyes, because we had the surgery done for their eyes, and now we have to see if they need glasses, which they don't make many of those for such tiny little babies in our state. I know. So, have you ever been denied by insurance for therapy services? So we've been denied by medical insurance a lot. So the first one is when we first adopted them, they were 3 months old. So the birth parents applied for Medicaid to help cover some of the costs, but Medicaid only covered 1 baby for some reason. So that was a mistake on their part of Medicaid's, because they both have the exact same condition, exact same everything. So why they approved it for one and not the other, we'll never know, because I've called so many times to figure that out and no one can tell me. And the worst part is that by the time we brought them home and tried to sort this out, Medicaid told me they can only fix problems that occur within 3 months, backdated. So they could not help me whatsoever, because it was not within the 3-month rule, which is ridiculous. So the birth parents got stuck with $15,000 in medical expenses, and then we got stuck with so many more because of all the problems we had getting them from their home state to our home state. Insurances don't like to cover out of state. So our private insurance didn't want to cover any costs that were outside of our home state, because we didn't get a letter of approval beforehand, and we didn't know the process, and so we just went about it the wrong way. So partially our fault, partially their fault, I don't know. It's just a screwed up system. So all of the equipment that they sent us home with, we had to pay for. Like May was sent home on oxygen. So, and a room converter, nose cannulas, all the stuff. Then we had Maya, who was on a G-tube, so she needed a pump and a bunch of other stuff. So yeah, that was all not covered by insurance. That was a nightmare. We never did an appeal, which is her fourth question, because I guess it was too much of a hassle, and we knew we'd get denied anyways because we didn't go through the right procedure and process. And also, we couldn't do an appeal for Medicaid. I don't even think that's possible. So we couldn't help the birth parents out. We are helping them out as much as possible, but we couldn't help them out in that way of writing a letter of appeal. So, do you ever feel financially stressed due to medical bills? Oh, that's, yes. There's so much stress over that, and already being a new parent and trying to find your routine and everything else, and then just to dump all of that medical stuff on top of that was just a nightmare, because no one grows up being an expert on all of this medical stuff. So just having to learn the process, read all the documents, find out what you need, what you don't need, find out who you need to talk to, what numbers you need to call. All this information is new when you first, jump into this world of special needs. You don't learn it in college. You don't learn it from your parents. This is all new. And all the letters that you need from the doctors, it's just a nightmare of paperwork and filling out and procedures. So it's a lot of stress. Plus, on top of getting denied, that's a lot of stress too. So yeah, just a lot of stress. What is it like emotionally as a special needs parent? Emotionally, I would assume that most people think it's pretty hard, but I would have to say it's a lot easier than most people expect, because when you get involved with the special needs community, it becomes this new family that surrounds you in encouragement and helpfulness, and it's like there's all these groups on Facebook that you can ask questions to. There's people all over your community. There's programs. There's moms reaching out to you through therapy, and it just makes you feel so included, and it makes your life so much easier because you always feel like you have a friend there to ask any questions and to have so much help with and so much encouragement. And that's what you need, because the doctors do not give you any encouragement. I've never met a doctor that was like, oh, best case scenario, she could be doing this and this and this. The doctors told me when we went to go pick up our girls that they would be vegetables, that they would lay in a crib for the rest of their lives. They would never walk or talk or do anything like that. Luckily, we were already involved in the special needs community, and we knew differently, because that would have scared us away if we didn't know any better. And I'm sure it scared thousands of parents, because that's horrible to hear. And I understand that they do have to tell you the worst case scenario, but they should also tell you the best case scenario, because nowadays, most of the time it is best case scenario, because there's constantly new developments in the special needs community. There's new programs, new therapies, new instruments, new technology, new medicines. Like, you would not believe how much stuff there is popping up every single day to help with muscle spasms or tightness in muscles. Like, I just read about the other day an article about Botox injections could help with tightness in muscles. It's amazing, the stuff that they come up with. And for you to get worst case scenario when there's stuff like that happening every day, it's just not what a parent needs to hear, from my opinion. So, what is your biggest struggle? Biggest struggle would be the doctors and the medical insurance and all of that stuff, because parenting comes easy. You fall into a routine, it becomes your new normal, that stuff is the easy part because you get to celebrate every little milestone and it becomes just a nothing but joy and just celebration for everything. But the doctors, on the other hand, they want to tell you everything that your kid can't do. And that's not okay, because I'm excited about everything they can do. And that's what I want to focus on. I don't want to focus on everything that they can't do or shouldn't do or won't do. So I think that that's our biggest struggle, is just telling the doctors and explaining to them what they shouldn't say, I guess. And let's see. What is your advice to other special needs parents? Instantly join groups. Facebook groups for whatever special needs your child has. Instantly reach out and find those groups, because that's going to be your biggest encouragement. That's going to be your best advice, because doctors don't know everything. And these mamas that have special needs children, they do way more research and know more than most doctors do, because doctors don't deal with the individual. They deal with the masses of people, and special needs aren't the popularity. So they're not going to know everything. They're not going to know the progression of what could be. So I'd say reach out to them as soon as possible so you can get a more realistic view of what their future holds, because every mom wants to know that instantly. As soon as they hear those words that your child has special needs, they want to know their future. So reach out to the groups, find them. What is your advice for healthcare professionals to help them better understand? Definitely try to encourage more, because doctors seem a little cold, a little too focused on all the bad stuff that could happen. And I understand that they need to tell you that and explain that, but they could also tell you all the good case scenarios that they've had. They could also tell you that they've had, you know, just little words of encouragement, like, you've got this, you can do this. Just a little bit more bedside manner is what I'm looking for. That's all. Yeah. Those are all 9 questions. So, thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed it. Say bye-bye. Bye-bye. Say bye-bye.